Welcome into another edition of Berg is the Word. The Carolina Panthers beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 37-26 in London. And Jameis Winston throws a career high 5 interceptions. He had 6 turnovers overall with the fumble as well. And he's in a contract season. And the question you have to ask yourself if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan is whether or not you want to award this guy a contract moving forward. A couple stats for you. Winston he's thrown at least 2 interceptions in 18 games in his career. He came into the league in 2015. This is his 5th season in the league. And he's had 18 games with multiple interceptions. We're talking about a fifth of his games where he throws at least 2 interceptions. This guy's a turnover machine. He's a turnover machine, and it's hard to win football games when you turn it over as much as he does because you put your defense in a terrible position from a field position standpoint. Seriously, if you're a Buccaneers fan, what more do you want to see from Jameis Winston on whether or not you want to keep him as your quarterback moving forward? And you want to know what? The Buccaneers don't have a guy on their roster like Ryan Fitzpatrick who can come save the day and pull off Fitz magic. The Buccaneers don't have that this season. There's a reason why Blaine Gabbert, the backup, is on his 4th roster, his 4th team at this point in his career. And there's a reason why Ryan Griffin, who I believe is in his 7th season in the league, hasn't started a game in the NFL yet. The Buccaneers have no one to turn to, and they have no one to blame but themselves. Winston threw 54 times in today's game. Why did Tampa Bay abandon the run? It's because they were facing a deficit for the vast majority of the game, and they had to try to come back and win and preserve the clock by passing the football instead of running it on the ground, which chews up more time. The Buccaneers only ran the ball 14 times today, and they weren't effective on the ground with both Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones II. I seriously, though, with Winston, what more you would want to see? He is 23-37. That is his career record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Let me say that again for you. Jameis Winston is 23-37. We've had a large enough sample size at this point with Winston. It's not just this individual game. When he continually turns the ball over again and again and again, and you get in new weapons, in new coaches, in new offensive talent, at what point is enough with this guy? And if you're Tampa Bay, what you have to ask yourself is there a guy either in the upcoming draft class or in the 2020 draft class that you want to target as your quarterback of this franchise moving forward? Because Jameis Winston isn't getting it done. And we've seen that from the sample size through 4+ seasons now. This is his 5th year. He's in a contract year as well. And certainly if you're Tampa Bay, you have the option of applying the franchise tag to Jameis Winston. If you're a Bucs fan, what would be the purpose of that? What would be the purpose of that? If you're Tampa Bay, what more would you want to see from Winston? Again, 23-37, that's his record as a starting quarterback in the NFL. And again, 18 games with multiple interceptions. That's nearly a 5th of his games. That's more than a full season. You talk about a 16-game regular season. He's had 18 games with multiple interceptions. And again, why is he throwing the ball 54 times? It makes no sense to me. One thing that you could tell that the Bucs wanted to do today was target Mike Evans. Mike Evans was held without a catch against New Orleans a week ago. In that game, Winston only targeted Evans 3 times. Today, Evans was targeted 16 times. He had 9 receptions for 96 yards. But as Winston the Buccaneers overcorrected. They overcorrected on the very first interception. Winston was trying to target Evans, and it got intercepted. And again, this can't all be on Winston. Yes, he had 5 interceptions, 7 sacks given up for the Buccaneers. 6 of those were in the first half. And then again, the Buccaneers only ran the ball 14 times. They had 42 yards total on the ground. They had 42 yards total on the ground. But so they tried to target Evans more. You saw what happened the one play where they finally got it to O.J. Howard, the first-round draft pick a year ago. But seriously, what more would you want to see from Jameis Winston right now? And I seriously, if you're the Buccaneers, as a franchise, you've got to think about who in the draft or possibly free agency that you would want to target as your quarterback moving forward. And it's not just this individual game with Winston. It's the sample size that what we've seen in 4+ seasons. Again, Winston now in his 5th year as the Buccaneers starter. The team certainly could franchise tag him and keep him around for another year. But what more do you need to see from this guy in the sense that he doesn't put your team in situations to win football games? And he's a turnover machine. The guy, I don't know what more excuses you need to make. Well, he needs a running back. Well, he needs better receivers. He needs a tight end. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Chris Godwin, who surpassed 100 yards again. Ronald Jones is finally starting to come around. He didn't play that well today. But what more excuses do you need to make for Jameis Winston? Because he's not going to be able to get it done. And even if they beat Carolina today, what's Jameis Winston's ceiling as a quarterback? Being marginally above average, maybe just barely getting an NFL team into the playoffs? Again, I don't think all of this is on him. 7 sacks given up. There were 6 sacks given up in the first half alone with Winston. And Carolina getting some revenge. Again, this is the same Carolina team that Tampa Bay beat in week 2. And Kyle Allen looks remarkable. And I mentioned turnovers before. Kyle Allen didn't turn the ball over in today's game, and the Panthers win by 11. 20 of 32, 227 yards, 2 touchdowns for Kyle Allen. Winston was 30 of 54, 400 yards passing, a touchdown, 5 interceptions. Allen was sacked twice. Winston was sacked 8 times. It's just unbelievable to me. It's seriously just unbelievable to me. And Winston, seriously, the question you have to ask from what we've seen from him in his career with different systems, different coaches, and different players, nearly a 5-year sample size doesn't lie. It doesn't lie with this guy. And a career high, 5 interceptions for Winston. And it just goes to show you the importance of taking care of the football in the NFL. In the NFL and in college. And when you turn the ball over 6 times in a game, it's awfully hard to win. And it's that simple. And it's that simple. Awfully hard to win when you turn it over that much. We'll see what ends up happening with the Buccaneers moving forward. Next up for the Bucs, take a look at the schedule here. They've got a bye week, and then they'll go to Tennessee to take on the Titans. As for the Panthers, give me just a second here as I'm pulling this up. The Panthers take on the 49ers. They've got a bye week, and they take on the 49ers. So both teams will have the bye following this game in London today. But just, again, if you're Winston, 23 and 37 as a starting quarterback in the NFL, 18 career games with multiple interceptions. He came into the league in 2015, so this is his 5th season, and he already has 18 career games with multiple interceptions. That's unbelievable. That is seriously unbelievable. And it reaches a certain point. At what point does a guy still keep his job? But the difference between last year's Buccaneers team and this year's Buccaneers team is this. Last year, you had Ryan Fitzpatrick, an established veteran, yes, a journeyman quarterback, but an established veteran to turn to at least weather the storm during Winston's suspension and then when Winston struggled in the middle of the season. Buccaneers fans, if you want to see Blaine Gabbert or Ryan Griffin, good luck, because both of those players are probably worse than Jameis. There's a reason why Blaine Gabbert is on his 4th NFL team. There's a reason why in Ryan Griffin's 7-year career that he has yet to make a start in the NFL. There's reasons for this. There's reasons for this. And the Buccaneers, at least, weren't able to get the ground game going. Again, only 14 rushes for 42 yards. Why is Winston throwing the ball as much as he did today? It makes no sense to me. Makes absolutely no sense to me. And the Buccaneers losing to Carolina today. against Kyle Allen, who's been filling in for Cam Newton. If you're the Panthers, you have to ask yourself, once Cam Newton comes back healthy, I think you ride the hot hand, and I think you continue to start Kyle Allen. He's able to protect the football. He's won the games that he started filling in for Newton. And again, protecting the football, I forget how much Kyle Allen's efficiency is. I'll pull up his numbers here in just a second. But he's done a tremendous job filling in and really salvaging the season. Now the Panthers improved to 4-2, and they're at least in contention with the New Orleans Saints in this NFC South division. It's been remarkable, though, in terms of Kyle Allen getting his first few starts in the league, and this is Winston's 5th year, and Allen just completely outplays him. Yeah, Kyle Allen has yet to throw an interception. He hasn't been terrific. You know, Christian McCaffrey's gotten most of the headlines for Carolina, and deservedly so. But it just goes to show you the importance of what happens when you take care of the football, and Carolina getting an 11-point win over Tampa Bay this morning. I hope this was fun. Also, one other thing I wanted to talk about, that free kick at the end of the first half. I've watched a lot of football, and my dad, never seen something like that before, where Carolina decided to fight fair catch, and then they got a free kick, which was almost like a de facto kickoff/field goal attempt at the end of the first half. Now, Carolina's kicker missed the kick, but I've never seen anything like that. If any of you have before, or have like footage of where this has happened in another game, I would love to see it. I didn't even know what the ruling was about that. I thought that was pretty fascinating to watch. But again, my big takeaways with the Buccaneers: we've seen enough in nearly a 5-year sample size to know that Winston is not the answer for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The guy's a turnover machine. 23-37 as a starting quarterback, 18 career multiple interception games. We've seen what we need to see with him. Sacked 7 times in today's game, 5 interceptions, 1 fumble. So the Buccaneers turning the ball over 6 times in today's game. Not able to get the ground game going. 14 rushes for 42 yards. Winston threw the ball. I believe it was 50 plus times. Give me just a second. I'm pulling up the stats. 54 times. 54 times in today's game. And Tampa Bay, you've got to be better. You've got to be better. It's that simple. It's that simple. And losing to a team that you beat in week 2 of the season goes to show you the teams that have improved and the teams that haven't. Again, Carolina 4-2 right now, right on the cusp, right behind New Orleans in this division. Tampa Bay now 2-4 after today's game. And really, what silver linings you saw. Again, I also want to mention this before signing off. The overcorrection with Mike Evans. Targeting him 16 times after last week. The Buccaneers only targeted him 3 times. Maybe meet somewhere in the middle. Maybe Winston was trying to force the ball to Evans too much. Again, Evans had 9 receptions in today's game. But you can't go from only targeting him 3 times to targeting him 16 times. Again, he had that key drop in the first half, which, to Winston's credit, he put right on the money. Mike Evans, if he's a Pro Bowl receiver, has to catch that ball. And maybe Tampa Bay scores right before half, and they're only trailing by 3. Instead, that doesn't happen. He drops the ball, 17-7 at half, and then Carolina absolutely wallops Tampa Bay. And again, this game came down to turnovers, and it's that simple. My name is Mark Bergin. We'll go ahead and sign off here. Hope all of you have a terrific rest of your Sundays. Take care. So long. I'll see you next time.